Well, welcome back to the Orange Couch. Here we are in the early stages of 2023. And some of you might know over the last few months I've been getting back into my fitness. I did some swimming a few years ago and then I had a breather and now I'm back at the gym. And I was paying Fitness First a little bit, you know, your $20-30 a week. And I think I went once in 3 months. And I'm thinking, why am I doing this? Why am I paying Fitness First? I'm not even going. So I cancelled that membership. Obviously, you've got to give them a month's notice. They keep charging you for a month. And I found this little specialised sort of corporate gym down the road from me on Isla Capri in Bundall, and I joined up and then did a few sessions, really enjoyed it, and it was just not your standard gym. It was a really good feel, a really good vibe. It was personalised, and I've loved it. And the gym is RBF, Rick Brennan Fitness, and I have him in the studio today, the man himself, Rick Brennan, a very special guest. Thanks for coming on the Orange Couch, Rick.
Thanks for having me, and sexy orange couch it is. I must say that's an unpaid plug for Fitness First too, which is...
It's an unpaid plug for them.
Yeah.
Sausage Factory versus personalised service.
And that's another reason why I started what I did.
McDonald's, Fitness First, RBF, Propel.
Yeah.
I think they understand where we're going with that.
Synergy of us, you know.
But I soon realised, training with you and your main man Dan down there, that this wasn't a normal gym. And just your story has interested me from the beginning, Rick, and that's why we thought we'd get you in for a chat today, because you've done a fair bit over your lifetime, the last 20, 30 years. From sort of, if we go back a bit, you were actually drafted by the Brisbane Bears when they were based at Carraro.
So,
is that right?
Yeah, I went to Brisbane. I was there in 91 after we played Teal Cup.
Are you a Brisbane boy originally?
I was a Brisbane boy, yeah. I was a St. Patrick's College
grew
boy
up
in
there?
Brisbane.
Yep.
Yeah, and my brother went to the Brisbane in the first year.
Yes.
87. He suffered a lot of injuries. So I didn't have the discipline back then. I went to Brisbane after 91 in Teal Cup. And
Great experience.
Great experience. They were we were the flogged. We were getting hammered every week.
Not fun, is it?
And that was more of a buy for most other teams.
Yeah.
They sort of came up to...
It was easy.
They came up to the Gold Coast.
For a holiday.
For a holiday. And it was more about getting the game done and heading out to Melbourne for a few winners' drinks, I think.
So will the away team go out to Melbourne and you'd be there too, the home team?
The home team always went to Melbourne.
Yeah. The losing home team.
Yeah, the losing home team.
But the away team would go there too, the Hawthorn, Essendon, all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like the tunnel in Melbourne was Melbourne's on the Gold Coast.
Yes.
So
there you go.
Yeah, they were fun old times. I was there, but I didn't play. I had a knee injury very, very early.
Yes.
And basically straight after Teal Cup did my knee.
Yeah.
So I had an ACL.
They're not good. I've had one.
No, not good. Not much fun. So,
yeah.
Which was good though.
A reconstruction.
Reconstruction, yep. And you're looking back those days too, we weren't as technologically advanced as what we are now, especially with our rehabilitation processes, like cryo, for instance. You know, what we can do now is, we can shorten that sort of 8 to 12 month period down to sort of 4 to 5 months. Which
Did they take your patella tendon or your hamstring?
First one, patella tendon.
Did they?
So, and
You've had a couple.
Yeah, I've had 3.
Same knee.
3 on the knee, on the left, yeah.
On the left.
Yeah, so I was one of those guys, I was quite quick, but I used to spin and turn a hell of a lot. So
that's what
wet weather games for me, when I was spinning and turning and pivoting a lot of the time, basically no good with your foot on the ground. And I was very light too.
Yeah, so but 3 knee recons will probably end a career.
Oh, God.
Any career, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I went after that year in 92, when I obviously did my knee very, very early. Most of my mates that were all playing sort of either senior football or reserve grade football for the Bears that year.
Yeah.
So sitting back and having to watch all that was quite hard.
Frustrating.
And very frustrating. So I decided at the end of 92, Maurice Rioli was our All-Australian selector in 91 in Teal Cup. And I was lucky enough to make the squad of 30 for the All-Australian team. So
well done.
He kept in contact with me after that year, and sort of he knew I got injured, and he said, mate, why don't you come up and play a year with the Tars? So he was coaching the Waratahs. So I was lucky enough, I went up and I played with the Waratahs, with Morris.
In the Northern Territory?
In the Northern Territory.
Because he's got strong WA links too.
Absolutely.
Because I'm from WA and Maurice Rioli was, I think, a South Fremantle legend.
Yeah, and I was meant to go to South Fremantle.
Wow.
So, because I think all the Riolis, most of them have gone to WA, have gone to South Fremantle.
He was a weapon, wasn't he?
Oh, he was. And the whole Rioli family.
Yes.
Willie Rioli was incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a lot of families up there, the Tip and Woody families. There was... they're sort of coming through now.
I still think there's untapped resource. We won't go on AFL too much in this chat, but there's so many more great players from up there that I don't know if we've recognised them all.
I was lucky enough to go across to Bathurst Island and to actually Tiwi Islands and stuff, and to see them play barefoot.
It's unbelievable.
And to watch the speed,
the skill
level of these. They can jump on head. We had guys 5'5" that were jumping on guys' heads and then would hit the ground and run away with it.
Wow.
Quite incredible. Yeah, so there is a lot of untapped talent up there. So
you did the knees and then went and played up there?
Went and played up there.
But after the knees?
After the knee.
How was it?
First knee. And then I thought I was going to go across to South Fremantle. And at the end of 92, my brother got delisted with Brisbane.
Right.
So Big Ben Harris, for anyone who knows, was a Port Adelaide superstar.
Yes.
Big Benny Harris had shoulders about 10 foot wide.
Yes.
He got delisted as well. And so they decided to go and play a year together in Mildura.
Right.
So I was heading across to South Fremantle. And then they gave me the call because I was sick and tired of the heat. The heat was killing me in Darwin. It was shocking.
Yep.
And it was wet weather football, basically, which took a lot for me to get used to.
Yes, and draining and...
Yeah, it was hard. It was just
hard.
I didn't like weather football because I was like my speed and being able to run and jump.
Yes.
So obviously that brought me back down. I will say though, which we may touch on a little bit later about Warwick Kappa.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I've played with two.
I've met the Wiz.
The Wiz. I played with two of the most flamboyant footballers to ever play the game.
One of them, him.
Mark Jacko Jackson, number 2.
Wow.
So they brought up Jacko to play some games. Mate, did he bring the crowds out?
In the Northern Territory?
He played that year. Now, mate, his Bob Lutz was huge.
Was he doing handstands like he used to do for Melbourne?
Well, he tried to do a handstand, and let me tell you, it wasn't real pleasant to look. He sort of went backside over. He was insane. He was weighing, I reckon, around a good 125 plus.
Wow. He was an entertainer. They both were, Warwick Kappa and Jacko.
Caps could play still when I was lucky enough to play with him. But
his joke, Kappa's joke about had to call air traffic control when he talked about Mark. I mean, that's hilarious. He keeps saying it. It's still funny, isn't it?
The Wiz was hilarious because I'd play on ball, but then they'd rest me in the forward pocket. So I was lucky enough to play beside him.
Yeah.
And he knew my speed was there. So he'd say, look, I tell you what, buddy, you just lead out. You take the ball. I'm going to sit in the square. You kick it up to me. The Wiz will sit on heads.
Yes.
Kick 10, we win the game.
There you go. That's a good plan.
Yeah, and it seemed to work too. So.
Yeah. And so moving forward, you got those injuries. It would have been a bit of a tough pill to swallow. But really, Rick, you've turned the breakdown there of the 3 knee reconstructions into a bit of a breakthrough 100%. Because you've then used that rehabilitation to meet some great physios, some great doctors, understand a lot about health and nutrition and rehabilitation, and that's led you on this journey now that is the Rick Brennan fitness empire.
Health and wellness.
Hey? Well, that's dictated the rest of your life, has
Absolutely.
it not?
Yeah.
Because did you know what you were going to do before then necessarily?
I didn't know. I was a bit lost when it came to career.
Which most kids are at 19, 20, 21, 22,
well, when
23.
You're 14, 15, 16 and everything's flowing along nicely and, you know...
Well, you're told what to do.
An AFL career was beckoning. It's like, well, I'm just going to get paid football for the rest of my life. I don't really care about work. But it's something I don't need to worry about.
And if that gets taken away from you, which it did.
It did. So for me, I had to, basically, look at my deck of cards and go, what am I going to go from here? But, as you say, I met some incredible physios and doctors, which led me down a path of, okay, there's a rabbit hole I want to go down, and I never come back out. So.
Yeah, and you've developed and built Rick Brennan Fitness, which is more, to say it's a gym is not even describing it properly at all. It's really about the total wellness of your clients.
Totally.
From nutrition to diet to training to lifestyle to everything. Coaching.
Every aspect.
Mental.
Everything. And I always say it's not what we eat, it's what we absorb from the food we eat. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of us don't understand and don't realise. So I normally start from the gut and work my way through. So the gut obviously determines what we think and feel.
It's what you think and feel.
Totally.
I know from when you have a big weekend.
Shocking.
Feel shite.
Well, you sleep.
But then when you've eaten well and you're fresh, you're waking up without an alarm and you're buzzing.
Well, absolutely, because they communicate brain number 2 being the stomach, brain number 1, the vagus nerve. I won't go into it too much, but obviously the communication lines, what you obviously absorb is going to determine how you sleep and what you think the next day.
Yeah. So more than PT, you're writing diet programs. You've done it for movie stars who we won't name, but lots of the Hollywood legends have come to you, Rick, over the years. Is that right?
Yeah, very lucky to work with some incredible people.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's good. Actually, I get to actually learn what they're like behind the camera.
You would have learnt a lot from a lot of your clients over the years, wouldn't you?
Yeah, totally. And you know what? We all live with insecurities. And I think the biggest...
Even them?
Absolutely. The biggest takeaway I get from working with everyone I work with, we all have insecurities, and it's those that are prepared to work at our sort of flaws to make them a huge success. They
get nervous too.
Absolutely.
They worry about what other people think too.
Of course they do. That's why they come and they work with me.
Yeah, amazing.
I hold their hand and walk them along the journey, the same way you hold your clients' hands and walk them along their journey.
Funnily enough, there's a fair bit of synergy, and we talk about what we do here at Propel. Obviously, the audience, a lot of them have got a good idea, but it's helping people, get into a better financial position over a period of time, and the property is the vehicle to be able to do that. And you're helping people get into a better mental and physical condition over time as well. And the nutrition and the gym and the exercise is the vehicle to achieve that, isn't it?
100%. I always say organically we'll look better if we feel better. At the end of the day, if we're functioning
You'll
as a better
look
human,
better.
Yeah, we'll look better.
When you're better up here.
Absolutely. It starts upstairs. It starts in the brain.
It's the old stories of the supermodels with on the cocaine diet, not eating well.
Yeah.
They might look pretty, but you can see in them they're not really well, are they?
I've worked with a few of them. No, they're not well.
They're not well.
No, from a mental standpoint, they're not well at all.
No.
So, and all that, eventually runs out.
It does.
So if we don't look after our temple, and I call our body our temple, it's our super vehicle, and if we don't put the right petrol in there, eventually we're going to run out of fuel and we're going to run into problems.
Speaking of which, Rick, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Oh, God, I look at there's a lot of different viewpoints, as we know, when it comes to diet and nutrition. I've actually got a guy I know who's done a year now on the carnivore diet.
Oh, okay.
And only the carnivore diet. Now, I'm only pretty basic. I'm not an expert, but I grew up with my mum and dad saying, eat the cabbage, eat the pumpkin, eat the beans, eat the mashed potato, eat the meat as well, eat the fish. It's all good for you. We need veggies, don't we? Or can we just eat meat?
No.
Are we cavemen that have evolved?
No, we're omnivores. We need vegetables as much as we need salad.
Is that proven? It's proven.
Oh, look, you know what? We can talk science or we can talk through experience.
And you can experience.
I can talk through experience. I myself wouldn't recommend a carnivore diet. Now, I do understand there are some benefits, especially with weight loss, because insulin levels, we can keep insulin very low.
No carbs.
But, in saying that too, you can get an insulin response from taking protein in, which a lot of people don't understand. So, but look, I believe a balanced diet of fruit and vegetables. Yeah. We need the micronutrients, the phytonutrients that we get from the vegetables. So, I'm a huge fan of a balance. Look,
for us basic people, can we do like the 80-20? Because I reckon I eat pretty well during the week. I might have ice cream with the kids on the weekend. I blame the kids here, Rick. But you can have a little bit of that, can you, or not?
Of course you can.
And as long as you're working out,
balance,
and overall you're good.
It's balance.
It's balance.
Some keys that I get everyone to take away, and if anyone can take away some keys on nutrition, it is take in protein. Protein is the king of all macronutrients. So I say this to everyone I work with. So an easy.
But is that just meat or not?
Protein comes in many forms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of us think just meat, don't we?
Of course they do. Well, you get meat, eggs, protein,
fish,
dairy, fish, salmon.
Some nuts.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I'm a huge fan of animal proteins. So I don't want to put any vegans off.
No.
But, the Game Changer, James Cameron's film, Netflix came out 2 years ago. And look, I was asked by a lot of people my thoughts and opinions on it all. Now, I don't believe that living a vegan lifestyle. I understand for ethical reasons. I understand animal rights and a few other things. I understand because I'm an animal lover.
Of course.
But to optimize your health, I believe animal protein is the way to go. I also believe, and research certainly shows that the muscle is the organ of longevity. Muscles are, and to sustain a healthier balance in muscle is, yes, it's achievable living on a vegan style life. With nutrition point. But it becomes very, very hard. It also becomes hard because normally you'll have a higher carbohydrate diet to achieve that through nuts, seeds and legumes and so forth.
Right.
So if you're
because they're wiping out eggs, they're wiping out anything living.
Totally. But also you're actually, when you're starting to, taking a lot more carbohydrates, it's very, very hard to keep body fat levels down. So there's that. Okay. There's also a satiation point of view. Fats and proteins will give you satiation at a far greater point than what, living on vegetables will. So
it's very interesting.
Fiber is obviously very good for you, but protein for me is the king of all macronutrients for a number of reasons. And again, I could talk about protein for a long time. Oh, look, I say all listeners, basically, if you can do anything regarding macronutrients, that is double your weight in protein in grams. I suggest that's a really good starting point.
It is.
So for a 100 kilo guy, look to try and achieve 200 grams of protein a day. Now, if that comes in protein shakes, if it comes in eggs, if it comes in steak, chicken,
I'm on the
fish,
shakes,
salmon,
mate. I love your shakes.
At the end of the day, it's good tasting shakes.
The kids are on them.
I saw that today, actually. I had a drink in the morning. Look, at the end of the day, it needs to be sustainable. And to be sustainable, it needs to be enjoyable.
Because a fad or a diet, it's not going to work for 30, 60, 90 days, is it?
You need to look at something that's lifestyle-based nutrition.
Permanent change.
Absolutely. So what you were saying about, maybe refeeding, cheating, whichever way you want to put it on a weekend, go for it, the 80-20 rule. As long as you equate to the weekly, look, we work on a 24-hour equation when it comes to calories, and that's calories in, calories out, energy in, energy out. So if you are taking in more, of course, burning, of course you're going to put on body fat. Okay, and that's our body's way of dealing with it. So if you actually go into a deficit for the week,
Yep.
and that's why refeed and cheat meals are so popular these days. So a lot of people will go through the week in a massive deficit. So normally they say 500 to 700 calories a day is a good deficit. So if you go through the week,
that means you're burning fat?
well, and what it does, it enables you to be in a calorie deficit. So yeah, you will actually then break down fats stored for energy to balance you for the day, because you need to actually have energy for the day.
Yes.
So therefore, if you're keeping calories quite low and you're trying to lose body fat, basically then you'll go into those stores, break them down, utilize them as an energy source.
Gotcha.
So that enables you to get lean throughout the week.
Yep.
So what I suggest, most people say 500 calories a day, which gives you 3,500 calories a week. So if you actually would go into a deficit for the week, come to your weekend, you've been in deficit, you can actually then refeed, enable yourself to eat a few more calories. So you may eat an extra 1,000.
And back into deficit on the Monday.
Yeah, but you're still in a 2,500 calorie deficit for the week.
Yep.
So 1,000 calories in one meal over and above your normal meal is quite a lot of calories.
Right, it's a big feed.
Yeah. The only problem that we do have is a lot of people then hit the alcohol.
Yeah, of course.
And there's a whole
on the
other
weekend.
equation
It is.
Because at the end of the day, while you're drinking alcohol, your body's storing the other macros. And that's why I say alcohol being the fourth macronutrient.
First thing, if you want to cut the weight and you're drinking, is cut the alcohol first.
Cut the alcohol.
And then we'll talk about your food.
Absolutely.
Question for you, Rick.
Yeah.
Why is the world, look, and I'll just go America and Australia for the moment, why is, and I just mean it, we're getting fatter. Why are there so many people overweight? And I'm probably a bit overweight myself, but like obesity seems to be a real issue. It has been in previous years and it still is.
It's getting worse.
Why can't, is it education around what to eat? Why is obesity so bad? Because it's killing people early.
Of course it is.
Isn't it?
I put it down to immediate gratification. People want that
Macca's,
immediate high.
chips.
Easy. Do you know what?
But it's all packet processed.
It's processed because it's easy.
Don't we know that's no good for us?
Because it's quick and easy, and people want that immediate gratification. They want to feel good now. So they go.
And it's cheap.
Well, it's cheap, yeah.
Isn't it?
Well,
and there's not effort to get it ready.
It's cheap in the sense if you go and buy a bag of white potatoes, see how much that costs you, and if you break that white bag of potatoes up for the week, and you have a serve every day, it's actually cheaper than buying McDonald's.
True.
There's a free plug for Macca's.
True.
But it is free.
Yes.
It's a lot cheaper than buying fast food.
Yes, it is.
But a lot of it comes back to we are busy. Well, people think they're busy.
Yep.
So therefore, time and effort goes into other avenues rather than preparing food. Because food preparation is key.
Yeah.
Because if you get hungry, I say to everyone too, if you're hungry, don't go to the supermarket.
Yep.
Don't go near food.
No, because you're just loaded in.
You're loaded in. Your shopping cart, you'll get to the end of it and you'll have things in there that you you don't need.
Yep.
And then you take it home. And then the other thing too is if you're hungry at home, if you've got things prepped, it's quick and easy. You'll just go and grab.
Yeah.
Go and grab is not good.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. So look, obesity, I think for a lot of us is the fact that I don't think it's the fact that we're getting lazy, but I think we want that feel good rush.
Yeah.
We want that dopamine, that
a high.
serotonin high.
But comes then with the low, doesn't it?
It does. But
What comes up
why not
go
get
down.
that serotonin, dopamine high from exercise?
Yep.
And that's what people are now understanding and realising. That long-term, long-lasting high that you get from training and exercising
It's the best.
both mentally and physically, far outweighs that immediate gratification when reaching for something sweet-tasting, sugar-based or fat-based. Because let's face it, most things that taste good are high in sugar or high in fat.
Yep. I must admit, Rick, some mornings I don't want to go. Not that I don't want to go and see you guys, but you think, oh, God, I can't bother getting up. I don't want to go. Then you go to training and you do it. And it's just, wow, you are right. I'm riding my bike home after training with you guys going, wow, this just feels amazing. But isn't it funny? We know this.
We know
But
it.
then in the morning, if I didn't have you guys to commit to go and I'm paying for your professional service, I probably wouldn't go.
Exactly.
And that's the value that I see in training with people like you. Obviously, you're the best in the business, but that commitment I make, like you said to me early on, you said you've got somewhere to be.
Yeah.
Because if I find, for me personally, if I'm just trying to train by myself, it's hard. I'm used to being in footy teams over the years, and so you've got to be there, right? But then to do it by yourself, as I said, I joined the big gyms. I didn't go.
Yeah.
But now that I'm committing to you and Dan and the team at RBF, I'm going. And isn't that's the key, right?
Accountability.
If you don't go, you're not going to get it done.
Exactly.
And
And it's easy to take the soft or the easy option to stay in bed.
Rick, you used to have gyms, big gyms, didn't you?
Big gyms.
Tell us a bit about that, and then why you made the change to a more personalised, boutique style gym that you've got now at RBF.
So I opened a gym in 2006, late 2005, early 2006 in Broadbeach, which we catered for like 2,500, 3,000 members.
This was like the Fitness First model.
Basically, when the Gold Coast, when we opened that, there was Fitness First and basically us. There wasn't too many other big ones. So there was one on Bermuda Street, and then there was us in Broadbeach, and then World Gym started opening, and then More Fitness First, and then Good Lives and so forth. So I wanted to offer a more specialised service. So I couldn't give that with a big gym.
Because it's a sausage factory, isn't it?
It's a sausage factory, and I was seeing what was going on. You weren't able to give the level of service. So, I wanted to give value to everyone. So to give value, I needed to shrink back and actually then get a system in place where I could spend more time individually with my clients.
And that's what you've done.
Yeah, so it wasn't a numbers game. Sort of getting in there, flogging into 2,000 plus members, getting your 1,390 a week.
You were getting good cash flow. The business was good.
Yeah,
but you feel better doing it this way now.
Of course, it's more like I feel better within myself doing what I do. So I know my why. My why is to give people the value and the expertise that I can give and help them on their journey. Because absolutely, we're all got our own hero inside us all. But sometimes we need someone to hold our hand and actually lead us down the path.
Yeah.
So, and I found it very difficult, rather than just turning over numbers, letting people look. The best model from a fitness club is have the member that pays their $15.90 whatever it is a week and doesn't turn up. You are their perfect member. Because it's less.
I went once with Harry,
it's
our media manager.
It's less bums on seats. It's less equipment getting clogged.
Yeah,
and the members are actually wanting to train, can get around and utilise.
But they base their business model off that.
Absolutely.
That say so 5,000 sign up at the 15 a week, but 1,000 come.
Absolutely.
At different times across the week.
Absolutely, and that helped gyms too when they went to the 24-hour. 7 days, 24 hours a day. Yeah. Because then it obviously spread the activity, the hours. So
yours is boutique. It's good. It's a good little service down there. And I mean, who's your avatar? Who's your clientele? It's that corporate client, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Rick?
It's
time poor.
Time poor.
Want to come in, get it done.
Maximise their time, get the results, and then get out and spend time with family and their work members.
And you keeping them accountable, which I think is important.
Absolutely is.
Yeah.
And look, I think the other thing too is being able to understand. We're all busy, but then the limited time we have, we want to understand what we're doing is leading us down the right path to achieve our goals.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And look, that's a big thing. So I try to work with those and try and educate and help and guide you down down the track to achieve your goals.
Rick, it's important to note, you get the health part right, you get the exercise right, you get into that routine. Every other area of your life improves. Absolutely. I don't think anyone can argue with that. Yeah. When you are fitter and feeling better and exercising, 1,000%. Your relationships improve. Yeah. I think you're going to go better at work, therefore your finances will improve. Totally. You're probably feeling better in the mind. So spiritually, what are the other parts of the wheel? Friends. You're happier. Yeah. You're happier. Yeah. Isn't that what we all want to be?
Absolutely.
And the nutrition, you're not going through those highs and lows of, what do they call it, the sugar rush and then the down.
And then the crashes. So
it's important.
Yeah. I think it's important too that, there is no such thing as a perfect diet. I think the perfect diet is the diet that's sustainable and enjoyable for you. And
there's so many opinions on that. Like I was saying about the carnivore diet, there's so many different opinions from all these experts that it's a little bit like property.
It's confusing.
There's so many people saying buy cash flow, buy apartments, buy townhouse, buy house, do the, and then same with dieting, isn't it?
Yeah. I get some crazy curly ones that come to me, questions regarding diet, and I say, okay, what do you enjoy? So let's get back to basically stage one is what do you enjoy, and then how many calories are you taking in? Because at the end of the day, there's a baseline for all of us. Activity level and sustainability of that activity level, but then there's also the sustainability and enjoyment of the food we eat. So, I try and tally up what you're actually eating at the moment currently. That creates a baseline. And then from there, if you're trying to lose weight or gain weight, then we set about working out what you enjoy to eat and then adding those calories in to achieve or reducing those calories to achieve a goal.
Yeah.
So whether it's keto suits some people because of the fact that they enjoy their fats, and if they take carbs out, they get better satiation, but also they think clearer. Look, I don't start my day with carbohydrates.
You're not a huge fan of carbs, but you say they play a role?
Of course they play a role. Yeah, at the end of the day,
you minimise them?
I minimise them. So I find most people enjoy their carbohydrates when they stop. So for most of it's at the end of the day.
Oh.
So if you find those...
i.e. a pasta for dinner, which is not great though.
No, it's fine. I want to get to that. Absolutely. And again, there's the myths. I hate these myths.
Although Caslar makes a good spaghetti bolognese. We had it the other night. But yeah, what's the myth, Rick?
Okay, so there's a lot of myths when it comes to nutrition. I start my day on fats and protein due to the fact that I don't get hungry 2 hours later, but also enables me to think clearer. Look, I say to anyone out there, if you haven't
you've got a great body. We're in our 40s. We're getting on.
I'm 49 in a few months.
Look at this treasure chest and Warwick Farms on him, H-Bomb, hey?
At the end of the day, I say...
Are you 49?
I'm 49 in May, yeah.
Don't look it.
So thanks, mate. Yeah. Grecian.
And I don't need glasses, mate. I've got good vision.
Mine's terrible. So, yeah, I do that for the fact that it makes me think clearer. Look, other people can have carbohydrates and actually enables them to still think, but I don't. For me, it makes me cloggy, so I'm not sharp enough.
And what's for lunch for you then, on an average day?
On average, look, I'm pretty regimented. I have chicken breast, normally like it minced because I find it easy to get down with spinach, mushrooms and zucchini.
And that's most days of the week?
Oh, that's every day of the week. I have that 2 or 3 times a day, every day of the week. I take the same food to work every day.
But it works, mate.
Yeah. So I have 200 egg whites. I have 2 full eggs, and then I normally go to work. I might have a protein bar of some sort during the day because I normally have 4 or 5 hours back to back. So I'm not going to say to my client, just mind, sit there while I sort of pig in a bit of a meal. So
2 more reps, mate.
Exactly.
Straighten up a bit.
Yeah. Hey, I can tell you a funny story. I had a trainer that worked for me many years ago who used to bring his meal out because he was was a very good bodybuilder at the time. And he used to bring his meal out and lay on the floor and direct his clients around the gym while he ate.
Oh, my God.
And, people who are listening to this that know me and know who worked for me at that time will be wetting themselves because they know exactly what I'm talking about. That's how so then I find I have my backload my carbs. So I backload my carbs to when I finish at the end of the day and enables me to sit down.
So you haven't had any carbs till dinner?
Not many at all.
And will you have them every dinner?
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, you will?
Oh, yeah. My go-to meal of a night time is carbohydrates. Now, look, for a
so
number
what
of
is
reasons,
that?
So I could be anything. I love bread, but I have sourdough because it's fermented. It works well on my stomach. So I suggest anyone who loves bread or likes carbs.
I love bread. I love
go
carbs.
for sourdough. Try and get gluten out of your diet. Gluten is a protein, but it has no nutritional benefits. So gluten, get it out of your diet.
Just don't have it.
Just don't have it. You'll find you'll get bloated,
Feel lighter without it.
You do feel lighter. And you'll find you'll think clearer. So get rid of gluten. Gluten is something that you just should have in your diet. And for those that take it out, you'll understand within a couple of weeks why I've said it.
Harry's interested in this. I can see him
Gluten's
not only
incredible.
filming
Get
us
rid of
today,
gluten.
Rick, but he's a marathon runner, did the 42K, but he's stripped it. He's listening to this, aren't you, H-Bomb?
Gluten, get rid of. So,
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, every night I'll have carbohydrates. I backload my carbs. So I say to everyone, once we sit down and we establish your baseline, which I said a moment ago, we know that you're allowed to take in, say, 2,000 calories a day, whatever it may be. We double your weight in protein. So if you're a 100-kilo guy, you're having 200 grams of protein times by 4, of course, gives you 800 calories. So I like to work out someone's protein base out of their 2,000. Then I like to work out their fat base because I think fats are so important. And so from a hormonal, there's a number of different reasons why, a large number of reasons why.
Natural fats.
Monosaturated, polyunsaturated, but also don't take saturated fats out of the diet. I know you to eat some saturated fats can be quite good for you. Okay, so don't demonize saturated fats. Again, it's everything within reason. So then when I establish that, so just say, for instance, you're at 80 kilos, I might start you on 80 grams of fat a day. Times that by 9, there's 720.
Yep.
The rest is left over for carbs.
Gotcha.
So if you enjoy your carbs, look, 2,000 calories is not a lot.
But you might have a pasta at night. If we break it down.
Pasta 2 nights ago. My wife made gluten-free pasta and it was to die for.
But here's my next question, Rick. Are you having any sweets? No.
So
I don't reckon you would.
I have a yogurt.
Ooh.
And I have blueberries.
Okay, so that's something sweet without being bad.
It's not being
dairy.
Bad. Dairy, it's fermented. Yogurt's fermented.
Here's my next question. We've asked about meats. Are you a dairy, non-dairy man? We're about the same age. We grew up on the milk, didn't we?
Yeah, don't touch it. There's two.
So you don't?
No, if there's 2 things I can get everyone to eliminate from their diet, it's lactose and gluten.
There you go. There's a summary.
Our body stops producing the enzyme from an early age. We are mammals. And it stops.
We're drinking cow's milk.
And we stop producing that enzyme, which helps us break down milk. Now, a lot of people say, hey, but I can drink milk. I have no problems with lactose. I suggest the elimination diet, which I love doing with my clients. Get off these things. Take them out of your diet, like gluten and lactose.
But hang on,
put them back in a month later and see how you feel.
But you're having the yogurt, which is dairy.
But it's fermented.
Oh.
It's like sourdough bread. It's fermented.
So I can have that?
Yeah. The fermentation process actually enables your body to break it down a lot better.
So there's lactose in it, though?
Of course there is.
But it's okay?
Because it's fermented.
Got it. So there's something we learn every day,
I can
don't we,
tell
Harry?
you now, if you can put in yogurt, sourdough bread, if you enjoy, you'll have no stomach problems. So, and it comes back to what I was saying about the 2,000 calories. If my calories equate to those numbers, at the end of the day,
you're good.
I can have yogurt, I can have my blueberries. There's my sweetener before I go to bed.
So you're not missing out
and
at
I'm
all.
still keeping body fat extremely low. I'm not missing out on anything.
I better cut out those chocolate sultanas.
Do you know what?
They're so naughty, aren't they?
I
love chocolate sultanas, but they're so bad, Rick, aren't they?
He
didn't know that till today.
Here's one for you. Do you eat nuts?
I love nuts.
Have chocolate-coated nuts rather than sultanas.
If I want to be a little bit naughty.
Yeah, because the sugar that's in dried fruit is not real. It's worse than having, basically the sugar that in non-dried fruit. Like, for instance, fruit, once it's dried and the sugar condenses, get rid of dried fruit. A lot of people say that if you like chocolate, mix it with nuts because the fats slow down the digestion process.
Interesting.
So you don't get the spike.
So, okay, there's another good point.
So mix.
I like it, Rick.
Mix fats and carbs. There's another good one to take away.
I like it, Rick.
Mix fats and carbs.
We're going to finish with this. So, how did you start out, and how did you build your business to where it is today? Was it organic? Did you do paid ads? We had a lot of people watching who are entrepreneurs and business owners that invest with us. How did you grow it? Did you have a plan, or was it more just let's do it and see how we go, which has been a little bit like what we've done here at Propel, like let's just do our best and see where we go? Because a lot of plans you can't necessarily stick to, right? How did you take Rick Brennan Fitness from the beginning to sort of where it is today, Rick?
Being passionate about the fitness industry and doing the hours.
And
I've done the hours. Look, a lot of people who know me and been in this industry for a long time.
You're up early, you're in early.
I get my day starts at 4 a.m. every day.
You go for your walks?
Yeah, I call it movement. I don't call it cardio. I call it movement.
You go for a walk?
I get out and go for a walk. It clears my head and enables me to set up for my day.
Think clearly.
Think clearly. I love being able to get up when no one else is around.
The morning is the best part of the day.
It's the best part.
Isn't it?
But you really need to set yourself up for that, and that's going to bed earlier. Otherwise, you're burning it at both ends. So
in by 9-ish.
Oh, I try and be in bed by 8:30.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's very good.
So I like to get to bed early.
So plan for the business or passionate, and it just evolved.
It evolved over, and look, over the period of time, especially the last 22 years since I come back home to the Gold Coast, I've just grinded. I've done the hours, but I loved it.
You've grinded.
So I've done
from a one-man band effectively up.
Yeah, I've always just been training. I've enjoyed working with different people. I find it very hard to say no to someone because if I
want to help.
I want to help everyone. And it makes it very difficult because I could have gone the route where a lot of online trainers have gone, cookie cutter, just banging out the same diet for 100 people. I've never done it because of the fact that I want to work with the individual and be able to do and help them.
Understand them.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, we're all so different, and understanding where they're coming from an emotional point, because a lot of us are emotional eaters too. So I've loved that aspect of being able to work with people, being able to help change their life.
Yep.
And if that's one thing that I can, when I ever hang up my polo shirt or my Nike runners and I'm finished PTing, that I can leave my mark, that I've changed, thousands of people's lives that have come into contact with me.
Wow.
I've achieved what I've always wanted to do. So for me, it was organic, and that's what's happened with my whole career. It's just grown through word of mouth.
Helping people.
Just helping people and achieving the results, because there's no better marketing or advertising and word of mouth from someone that you've actually helped and changed their life. Look, I write for a lot of magazines over the years.
I read that article the other day.
That's
a very good article.
And again, I just put my heart and soul into writing articles, and I like to give people what I get asked all the time. So those answers that I do from the questions I get asked every single day.
Yes.
And it's amazing.
Experience.
It's experience, but it's amazing. I get asked the same questions now that I have been getting asked for the last 15, 20 years.
But you probably answer them as passionately as when you first got asked them, because you love helping people.
And look, you know what? There's always, science is changing, but all I can give you is, I've researched and I've studied for a good 15 years, but it's hands-on experience, working with different people, different ages, different lifestyles, different parts of the world.
Yep.
It's enabled me to, I suppose, develop a skill set.
Yes.
To be able to see different things that a lot of PTs don't see and nutritionalists don't see. So that's enabled me to help more people.
PT might be a little bit like the hairdresser. You get a bit of gossip down there. You get told a bit from the clients. And you probably keep it confidential, I'm sure you do. But you'd hear a lot of good stories, Rick, wouldn't you?
I've heard a lot.
Because when we're training, it was just like, I talked to Dan about a lot of stuff and he tells me stuff and it's great. You would have had, and no day is the same, is it?
No day is the same. I get told a lot of...
A lot of things.
We get told a lot of things. And look, that can make or break you as a PT or as a trainer or a coach, because at the end of the day, you've got a confidentiality agreement. You don't say anything. And look, it's even harder when you train couples.
Yep.
Let me tell you. Look, I don't do a lot of that. But when you're training partners, that becomes very difficult.
Wow.
Because you're hearing one side and then you're on the other side. You got to sit on the fence. You learn to nod and agree a lot.
You would. From 1991 at the Brisbane Bears, where they were based out of Carrara, to having the best PT studio in Australia, Rick Brennan from Rick Brennan Fitness. Thank you for joining us on the Orange Couch today, mate.
Thanks, Michael. Pleasure to be here.
Cheers.